And welcome once again to another episode of the Calvary Coaches Show presented by Masterwall. And I'm here with the softball coach of the Calvary Lady Knights, Coach Jeff Halstead. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, congratulations on the season, 21-2, ranked number one in the GIAA latest rankings. Talk about what you're looking forward to with the long season and being able to take on a lot of tough opponents, getting ready for what is the ultimate tournament, double elimination down at South Commons in 2 weeks. But how are you getting your team prepared for this tournament that you're about to face, actually in Columbus down at South Commons?
Yeah, so anytime you're in season, you're always identifying areas of your strengths, your weaknesses. We will spend the next week and a half really focusing on what has been our weak point this year, and that's hitting. I mean, we've been good offensively, but we've not been great offensively. And I really think in order for us to have a chance to win it, we're going to have to be great offensively. We're going to be seeing some really good pitching. We've been very solid with our own pitching and defense this year. But I really think that will be our preparation, is focusing on the offensive side of the ball. How do we get better there? How do we get some run production against good arms?
Absolutely. And 21-2, I want to talk about the regular season, because you played some tough opponents. Last night, a 2-1 victory over Tatnall, the defending champions. Talk about what you learned from your team playing tough opponents like Strong Rock, like Harris County, like Tatnall, and some of the opponents that you might end up facing in South Commons.
Yeah, so one thing I've learned is that we have had a mentality from day one that everything we do, we give glory to God for that. So we don't go into games worried too much about winning and losing, and I know that it doesn't always seem that way, but I think it's really hard to get kids in that mindset. But we just try to teach them, listen, whatever's going to happen's already been written. We just go into the game, we play hard, we never give up. We don't care what the score is. I can only think of one game this year where I felt like we just kind of, folded and didn't have the best mentality going into that game. But we've been down in several games this year.
Yeah.
And we've had several of those games where we've been able to come back and get a victory. So I think what I've learned the most about them is that we have a resilient bunch. We have a bunch that sticks together. And I think that's going to be really important as we go into the playoffs, because inevitably there's going to be a game or two games that we're going to get down. And it's just going to be a matter of whether or not our girls are going to be able to just keep playing, stick with the process like they have been doing all year.
And that's one thing you alluded to, was that fast start. There were several games where the bats, the top of the lineup, the entire lineup, wouldn't stop hitting. And you guys were able to get big run leads on some teams and able to rule them. And you just talk about like the timely hitting, because at that top of the order, I mean, you've had Maddie Davis, Kendall Gum, Kentley Spates, Brinley McKelvey, and you also, the bottom of the order has really got some good runs and been able to contribute as well. Just talk about that balanced lineup 1 through 9.
Yeah, so we've been really good at the top this year. We've had a lot of run production coming from the top of our order. We've fallen off some as we get towards the bottom, but I think the key for those players is, I got a lot of youth still, obviously, and the key for those players is to continue to work on focusing on just getting on base, contributing, being able to get bunts down, move runners over. That's going to be our game. That's been our game since I've been here. That's the style of game that I like to play. The one thing that when it comes to scoring runs is you have to execute offensively. There's more than just hitting. There's obviously bunting. There's obviously stealing bases. There's getting hit by pitches. There's drawing walks. There's battling deep into counts, getting pitchers tired. There's a lot that goes into that, and I think that's what our focus is on the offensive side. I just keep going back to the strength for us this year has been pitching and defense. That will have to remain strong in order for us to have a chance to pull this thing off. It just is the reality of who we are as a team. I build my lineups with defense, and then we kind of ride the wave with hitting. So as you mentioned early in the year, we were putting a lot of good swings on a lot of pitches, and then we get later in the year, we start getting into region play. The arms get better, the pitching gets better, the other team's defense gets better, and that's where we've seen a few bumps in the road, is being able to, the challenge of handling those good arms, being able to have that same run production against good pitching.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the regular season, some of the standout players, and look forward to this upcoming state tournament down at the South Commons Softball Complex. You don't want to go anywhere. It's the Calvary Coaches Show presented by Masterwall, and we'll be right back after this.
Georgia Alabama Sports Live wants to say thank you to Zaxby's for their continued partnership with us for over the last couple of years since we started this. Your partnership has meant the world for us to give you premier coverage for all the local sporting events around the Chattahoochee Valley area. And specifically, I want to thank Judson Humphreys, my good friend, and the Phoenix City location, being with us from the very beginning, man.
Absolutely. Well, we just appreciate what y'all do in the community for these student athletes, and we just want to be a part of it.
Whether it's tailgating, parties, or you just want a quick bite to eat, come to the Phoenix City Zaxby's location and tell them Georgia Alabama Sports Live and Thrift sent you. Thank you again to Judson Humphreys and Zaxby's for our continued partnership on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Houlihan serves fresh, handcrafted dishes made just the way you like them. Juicy burgers, sizzling steaks, crisp salads, and shareable appetizers set the table for every appetite. Relax with friends, celebrate special moments, or enjoy a casual night out. Houlihan's delivers great food, great drinks, and great times, with 2 locations in Columbus, downtown at the Marriott Hotel and on Sidney Simons Boulevard at the Doubletree Hotel.
And welcome back to the Calvary Coaches Show, presented by Masterwall, here with the Calvary softball coach, Coach Jeff Halstead. So you have one more game in the regular season, taking on Brookstone. Now, Brookstone right now is currently ranked number 9. I know that they need to improve their resume, and they beat Shaw, but they lost to Strong Rock, and they know if they improve their resume, they could possibly sneak into the playoffs. So what does this mean to have an afternoon game? What's that, 2:30? So I'm guessing the kids are out of school. So
the kids are not out of school. Just have they have a pretty big football game that night, the Brookstone Chili game, and then we have homecoming that night. So we had to slide the game up to accommodate. But I would say it's a big game. It's a big game for both teams. Obviously, with Brookstone, as you mentioned, they're kind of sitting on the outside looking in right now. They're gonna come in knowing that if they can come in and beat us, that they'll have a chance to get into the playoffs. For us, it's a region championship game in theory, because if we beat Brookstone on Friday, then we are the region champions for our region. So I think that's the challenge for both teams, is knowing that it's a big game on both sides for different reasons. But obviously, if we're able to take care of business on Friday, I mean, it's going to be a big deal for us and our program to be able to take that home.
And you split the season series with Strong Rock. They are currently ranked number 2 in the latest GIAA ranking. So Strong Rock is looking at this thinking that they have an opportunity to get the tiebreaker. Because basically, if you split with Strong Rock, are they going to go off of the tiebreaker as far as like who is ranked higher in the GIAA?
Yeah, so there's still some up in the air about what the tiebreaker is. It's actually decided within the regions. But as of right now, we own every potential tiebreaker that there would be with Strong Rock. So if there is a tiebreaker situation, we would be the region champions. And the latest tiebreaker, and I'm not sure if this is still in play, was run differential. And since we beat them by 3 at our place, they beat us by 2 at their place. And so we would own that tiebreaker if that indeed is the way that it falls out. But we're not focused on that. We're focusing on Friday. We're focusing on trying to win a game.
Absolutely.
Because we don't take anything for granted. We don't ever go into a game thinking, we're definitely going to win this game or we're going to lose this game. We go into the game just very process-oriented, just trying to go in and execute the way that we know we can, and just letting the wins and losses take care of themselves.
Yeah, and Brookstone is confident after beating Shaw, one of the top teams in Region 1 2A, and Coach Slade Stillwell has done a fantastic job. And Brookstone still has an opportunity to get into the playoffs, but I know that that's going to be a big game, and it's going to be at 2:30. So there's definitely an opportunity. I know the kids are going to be in school, but what is that crowd looking like? Are they going to have an early release from school so the kids can come out and watch the game?
I'm not sure if that's been discussed or not, but I know the students here will want to come out and support us. So I imagine they'll probably be having some conversations with the principals about, hey, can we go out and support the softball team? And I know our principals, if they ask and they know they're going to come out there and be supportive, I have a feeling that we'll probably have quite a showing of students coming out to that game. So,
and because Georgia Alabama Sports Live is going to be at Brookstone calling the Brookstone Pacelli game, and here calling Calvary Westfield School, we would love to have live streamed that game. We just got to see if we have the bodies to do it. But
sure,
Coach, I do want to talk about your team. You've got a young team. Let's start with your pitching. the games that I've live streamed on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, it's usually been Mackenzie Jones, and then Kendall Gum is usually the relief pitcher. She'll come in and pitch the 6th and 7th inning. Just talk about like who are some of your top pitchers and what roles do they have? And is Kendall Gum more of a relief pitcher, or is she a starter that you could use come playoff time?
Yeah, so in softball you see a lot more where you're using different styles of pitchers to attack opponents, and so we kind of look at it from a standpoint of which style pitcher suits best against the opponent that we may see. But both of our, obviously Kendall and Mac have been our two horses this year. They're both pitching really well right now. I have the utmost confidence in both of them. For Mac to go out last night to throw a 3-hitter against Tatnall, who is widely known as one of the best hitting teams in the area. Kendall's season speaks for itself as well because she's been very dominant this year. So we really have kind of structured this as we have a junior pitcher in Kendall, we have a sophomore pitcher in Mac, we have a freshman pitcher in Reagan Terry, and then we have an 8th grade pitcher in Allie Halstead. So that's kind of our pitching staff. Obviously, the two older ones have gotten the bulk of the work this year, but they've been so good for us. They've thrown strikes. They've gotten a ton of swings and misses. They have just really dominated from the circle, and our defense has complemented them very well. So I was looking at some things the other day. Just on our infield, we have had 108 chances this year on the infield, and out of 108 chances, we have 2 fielding errors. And so that's a pretty incredible statistic when you think about and again, we also know anything can happen. We may go down and kick it around in Columbus, but if we can continue to pitch and play defense the level that we have played it, we're going to be able to stay in games and keep everything close.
And that's the key, is getting off to that fast start. And you have players at the top of the lineup like Maddie Davis, who's batting over 560, and then a player like Kendall Gum, who gets on base just about every time. It's important to get your table setters up, because then you have Kentley Spates. I was there on the call when she hit the 3-run homer against Columbus. She has definitely got power. And then Braylee McElvey. To talk about what it means to get those players on base and also have the heart of your lineup able to drive them in when necessary.
Yeah, so Maddie obviously is a special player. She's probably going to end up going to school wherever she wants to go to school to play softball. Yeah. She's that kind of player. She is just kind of what spearheads our offense. She has a really high on-base percentage, a really high batting average. She's very versatile. She can bunt. She can slap. She can sit back and hit for power if she needs to. She's just that kind of player, and she's the kind of what gets us going. And then you see those other 3 that you mentioned that are there with the purpose of moving her around and really moving each other around, because they all have a really good on-base percentage. They all have really high batting averages, and they all are capable of driving in runs and hitting the ball out of the park. So obviously having that skill set at the top of your order has been really nice for us. And like I said, it's just a matter of us getting our entire team working towards run production. That's going to be the key for us in the playoffs. I feel very confident that we will pitch and play good defense. What I want to make sure that we are good at doing in the playoffs is generating runs, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Okay, it's not about somebody's batting average. It's about the team collectively doing whatever it takes to score more runs than the other team. And I think that's when you get into the playoffs, that has to be your focus, and that's going to be our focus. We're going to focus first and foremost on doing everything for God. Like, that's our number one priority. Yes. We're going to give God the glory in everything that we do. Number 2, when it comes to softball, we're going to pitch and play defense. And then number 3, we're going to work on trying to figure out ways to generate runs as an offense, not worry so much about somebody's batting average or worry so much about somebody's on-base percentage. It's just about the team collectively doing what needs to be done, moving runners around, figuring out ways against really good pitching, because that's all we're going to see in the playoffs, is to generate as many runs as possible with our offense.
And it's a good thing it is a double elimination tournament, because sometimes you run into a hot pitcher, but you still have a game. I know you don't want to overlook Brookstone and take it one game at a time. I mean, we've heard the cliches, but we know that the GIAA state championship is 2 weeks away. It's going to be held at the South Commons Softball Complex on October 16th through the 18th. You were there last year.
Right.
What does it mean to be back there at South Commons and to play in front of the home crowd here in Columbus?
Yeah, so I told everybody last year, our goal last year was just to get in the playoffs. We were so young, a lot of 8th and 9th graders. one sophomore, no upperclassmen last year. And so our goal was just, hey, if we can just get in and get that experience of being there, that was our goal last year. And we did. We were able to do that. We didn't have our best performance in the playoffs last year, but I also think it had a lot to do with our youth and inexperience. We should be much more experienced this year. We should play better this year. Our goal this year was just kind of to be in the top 4, right?
Yeah.
And so I think we firmly solidified ourselves as one of the top 4 teams in the GIAA. I also think that we have to go in knowing that there are 8 really good teams that are going to be there this year. There are 4 that I would say on any given day could beat anybody. And so I think that's where it's really going to boil down to who plays the best in the playoffs, because Tatnall is loaded. Strong Rock is loaded. First Presbyterian Day is loaded. You've got a lot of other really good teams behind them, LCA and some others. So at the end of the day, like, we know that going into this, there's going to be some really good softball down there. We have to execute at the highest level in order to win this. We don't worry about whether we're ranked first going into it or whatever. It's nice to be the 1 seed, but it means nothing unless you go down and you play well and you execute.
Well, Coach, you know we are pulling for you, and good luck against Brookstone this Friday, and good luck in the state playoffs.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. That is the Calvary softball coach, Coach Jeff Halstead. Thank you once again for watching another episode of the Calvary Coaches Show presented by Masterwall, and we will see you next time on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.